Somehow it's already December, so I'm going to take a minute to run through the books that I was able to get finished in November. I was very ambitious at the beginning of the month. I think there were 7 books that I said I wanted to get done. I only made it through 4, but sue me. I made it through 2 Stephen King books this month, as I am still working to read all of his books in publication order. First up was The Long Walk. This is the story about 100 young men who decide to join a competition where they have to walk faster than 4 miles an hour until they are the last person standing. This was a reread for me. I actually read it at the beginning of the year, but now that I'm reading his books in order, I listened to this one on audio this go around. It was still very enjoyable, still a really messed up story, and yes, I still recommend it. Next up was The Dead Zone. This is about a young man who is in a car crash and is in a coma for 4 years. And when he wakes up, as soon as he touches someone, he can see their future. And then things take a turn when he goes to a political rally and he shakes hands with a politician who is running for state office, and he sees how bad that man's true intentions are. I loved this book. I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of 11/22/63, I kind of feel like this was his blueprint in the 70s, and as he honed his craft and got better at writing, he eventually turned this on its head and it became 11/22/63. There are a lot of similarities between them, but still, very good book. Next up, this is actually the book that I finished first in November. It was a holdover from October when we were all reading scary stuff. It was Dracula. It's the original, the classic, the vampire story. It is a little long-winded. I feel like it could have been shorter, but if you're a fan of horror or the classics, I think this is pretty much required reading. Also, look how cool that cover is. And last up, I don't want to say that I don't recommend this book, but I'm going to give it a really big maybe because I think it has a certain audience, and maybe I just wasn't that audience. It was Entitlement by Rumen Alam. This story is about a young woman who gets hired on at a charity to help oversee how a billionaire's assets are spent. Kind of think of like how Bill Gates has his foundation. She works for this fictional billionaire's foundation, and she's trying to help decide like how he can use his money for the betterment of the world. Obviously, she is not a billionaire herself, and I feel like she very quickly became comfortable with how much power that company credit card had. It's a very interesting look at how she is able to rub shoulders with some wealthy people when she is just a normal person like you and I. And I understand the themes that this book is trying to get at, but I feel like there was too much subject matter squeezed into this short book, and I feel like we jumped around too much and didn't really get to dive in on things that I think could have really fleshed out in like character development, things like that. I don't know, maybe on this one. All right, those are the books that I made it through in November.